We're recasting Star Trek. This is episode 31.
You're listening to 70s Trek with Bob Turner and Kelly Casto, the fan podcast that looks at Star Trek in the 1970s. It was the decade that built a franchise.
Welcome to 70s Trek. This week, we're having a little fun. We are going to recast Star Trek with actors from the 1970s. I'm Bob Turner.
And I'm Kelly Casto. The rules for today's show? Well, there's just one. The actors have to have been on a TV show in the 70s.
Yeah, tough rule there. But before we get there, let's tell everyone how they can connect with us. You can go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/70s Trek. And when you get there, tell us about your 70s recast of Star Trek. We'd love to see what you guys come up with. And you can also send us an email to 70strek@gmail.com.
Hey, if you're looking for more episodes, you can find the show on iTunes. Just search 70s Trek in the podcast section. If you enjoy the show, we hope you'll consider leaving a rating and a review. When you do, it helps others find the show.
So the relevance of today's show is, well, let's be honest, there isn't any relevance.
No, not at all. This is just us having fun. We actually got the idea from silly conversations we had in college.
Yeah. You remember? I mean, we used to sit around and spit out all kinds of silly plot lines and scenarios.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. I don't know if we ever talked about this one, but I can't believe that we didn't.
Well, I think we touched on it. Like, hey, I think so and so should have played whatever in that show.
Yes, you're right. Exactly. We did do something like that. I do remember that. So, Kelly, you've got a list of 70 stars recast in Star Trek. Why don't you start?
All right. Well, I have actually several lists because this was quite fun. I'm going to start with, though, just my random list. All right. So start with James T. Kirk. Has to be Archie Bunker.
What?
Archie Bunker. Come on. He's got the chair. Right?
I like it. I like it.
He likes that chair.
I like it.
It's got to be Archie Bunker.
Nice. All right. Keep going.
All right. Mr. Spock. Oh, my God. Can't believe this.
It's not Rob Reiner, is it?
No.
Okay.
Columbo.
Peter Falk?
Peter Falk.
Oh, my goodness.
All the questions is deductive reasoning. Now I'm doing it based off of the character, right? That they played, not the actor necessarily.
Oh, that's fine. There's no rules.
So for McCoy, it's kind of a tie, but it's the same actor, Jack Klugman. For Oscar Madison from The Odd Couple, and Quincy M.D., I think is...
Because he was a doctor.
He was a doctor, right. Oscar Madison, because he's cranky, and then he had the doctor.
That's funny. Keep going.
All right, so Scotty. Now this is going to maybe throw you off a little bit. Dr. Rudy Wells from $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman.
Okay.
Now that's the character, not the actor, because there was 3 actors.
Wait a minute. Okay, so you're saying that the character, not the actors who played the character, you're actually saying if the character was real, he would play Scotty.
Right.
I'm guessing that's because of his engineering skill.
His engineering. He was a human engineer.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
I'm very intrigued by where you're going next.
Uhura. Uhura is Mary Tyler Moore.
Well, I said I was intrigued, but now I'm kind of blown away. All right, tell me why. There's some obvious reasons why I'm asking.
Well, she's in like a communication field, right? It's, a news field.
Okay.
And kind of a homage to Mary Tyler Moore.
Very nice. Okay. Fair enough.
Then, all right, Sulu and Chekhov have to do them together. Lenny and Squiggy. Actually, reverse it. Sorry, Sulu and Chekhov.
Okay. I'm with you.
I'm sorry that you are.
Nope. Keep going.
All right. The last
That's
one
hilarious.
I have in this list is Nurse Chapel.
Uh-huh.
And I looked at Carolyn Ingalls.
Oh, from Little House on the Prairie?
Right. Little House on the Prairie.
Nice.
So that's my first list.
Oh, okay. Good. I like it. So
What do you got?
the way I broke my list down was I sort of have my A team, those actors that I thought would really do well. And then I had a list based on cop show actors. And then I had a list that was based on, sort of, because there are some exceptions, on sitcoms. And then I just had a bunch of actors that I thought would fit in some of the roles, but I didn't really have a way of making them fit into a group. So they're my honorable mentions. So let's start with my A list. So for Kirk, I want to see Robert Conrad. Remember Robert Conrad?
Oh, yes.
Jim West from the Wild Wild West.
Yes, and Baba Black Sheep or
And
whatever.
Baba Black Sheep. Right. He would be more of the evil side of Kirk. Not completely evil, but he would be a little tougher, a little saltier. So I thought that might be interesting. For Spock, Martin Landau.
Martin Landau.
From Space 1999 and Mission Impossible. He has that look a little bit, too. He kind of looks like Nimoy a little bit.
Yes, and he's always that cool, calm demeanor, too.
Right. So I thought, he might be interesting there. Now, we're still going with my A list. For McCoy, I went with Chad Everett. Do you remember Chad Everett?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
From Medical Center?
Yep.
Now, he's a little different physically from DeForest Kelly, but he's kind of got, if I remember, he had a little saltiness to him as a doctor on Medical Center, and I thought, well, okay, so he's a little younger, saltier version of McCoy. So,
yeah.
Chad Everett.
That works.
All right, so I kind of go in a weird direction here with Scotty, but I think you'll see it. Richard Dawson from Hogan's Heroes.
Okay, I see it.
Not Richard Dawson from Family Feud.
Thank you.
I need to draw that distinction.
Thank you. That's where my mind went first.
Yeah, no, it's got to be from Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm not sure it would work. He'd be in people's faces too much, and yeah,
kissing all the women.
Oh, it would be rough. Yeah, he'd give Kirk a run for his money.
Exactly.
For Sulu, Bruce Lee.
Got to be Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I just couldn't leave him off the list, and physically they're kind of a match. So.
Yep, and you're talking Green Hornet, right?
Sure, Green Hornet and all the other great kung fu movies that he was in. So yeah,
Well, I'm thinking Green Hornet because he drove the car. He drives the starship.
You are thinking in a whole different way than I am, but that's good. That's okay. There you go. You married the two. I didn't do that. Chekhov. I actually picked the actor for Chekhov who Chekhov was based on, Davy Jones.
Oh, that's a good one.
I figured, what the hell? He was around in the 70s. Why not stick him in as Chekhov? Plus, he could sing occasionally,
Yeah.
You're right, exactly. And you know how Uhura likes to sing? So does Diana Ross. She is my Uhura. For my Chapel, Lonnie Anderson. They both have that kind of striking blonde hair.
Yes.
There you go. And for Yeoman Rand, because I could not leave Yeoman Rand off my list, Farrah Fawcett. My Yeoman Rand. Yeah, I know.
Let's go with my Happy Days list.
You made a Happy Days list.
Yes. Again, it's the characters, not the actors.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm
right.
again intrigued.
So, Kirk has to be Fonzie. Has to be Fonzie.
Not Richie's dad.
Not Richie's dad. No.
No.
No, it has to be Fonzie. Come on. He was a chick magnet.
I'm with you. That makes sense to me.
All right. Spock, got to be Richie Cunningham. He was always the one trying to bring everybody to reason, right? In the show. Do I stretch a little?
Keep going. You complete. It's so funny too because like you went in such a different direction than I did, but it's cool. It works. You're funny. This is so funny. All right, keep going.
So McCoy is Howard Cunningham.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you there. I can see that.
You know, a little older,
Absolutely.
mature guy.
Yeah, right. I can see
has a
that.
unique look at at life.
Yep. I'm with you.
Now this one, all right, early Happy Days, right? Arnold is Scotty.
Okay.
The set was mainly around that restaurant, and he ran the joint basically in the back. Fonzie really ran it outside, but he had all the behind the scenes and everything. So.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay.
All right. Got to have Joni for Uhura.
I like it.
No real reason, just.
No real reason.
She fit in there.
Okay.
And again, I'm treating poor Sulu and Chekhov horribly in my list, so sorry. Potsy is Sulu, and Ralph Mouth is Chekhov. Why? I really can't say.
Oh, you are so beating up.
I know. I feel bad.
Poor Sulu and Chekhov are just getting it from you.
They sure are. Nurse Chapel again. I guess I'm associating Nurse Chapel with good, wholesome, woman figure. Marion Cunningham.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
And then I threw in Yeoman Rand on this one.
Okay.
Pinky Tuscadero. Just
Pinky Tuscadero. Nice.
Had to throw one of the Tuscaderos in there.
I can see that. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's go to cop shows. This is my sort of cop show list. So for Kirk, and if you can remember what he looks like, it kind of fits. Martin Milner. Martin Milner was in Adam 12.
Yep, Adam 12, right?
Yep. For Spock on this list, also think of Adam 12, Kent McCord.
Uh-huh.
Who played Jim Reed.
Right.
For my McCoy, this might get a little strange, but if you think of him physically, it sort of works. Mike Connors from Mannix.
Right, Mannix.
You kind of physically, the face, it's sort of similar. And they're kind of long and lanky. And did you know, this is interesting. While I was looking into this, and I thought I would bring it up. Mike Connors lived to be 91, and he died in January 17. Just passed away. Yeah. I had no idea.
I had no idea either. I thought
know.
it had long passed.
Go figure. For my Scotty on this list, it has to be Paul Michael Glazer from Starsky and Hutch.
Yes. Yes. I looked at that.
But he's got to wear the sweater.
He's got to.
He's got to wear the sweater. That's right. And plus, there's a bit of a link. You know how he loved that car and Scotty loves his engines? Well, there you go. Sulu would be played by Robert Ito from Quincy. Do you remember, the guy who helped Quincy out in the lab?
Yep, exactly.
Robert Ito. There you go. All right, you're going to love my Chekhov on this list. Now, here's an exception. He has nothing to do with a cop show. but he can sing just like Davy Jones. It would be Bobby Sherman. Do you remember Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
The reason I picked Bobby Sherman was his hair, because he had similar hair to Chekhov. It came down around his forehead and all that. So there's
So
my
you-
Chekhov.
You kind of had the same thought process as I did.
Something similar. Yes, there you go. Let's talk about Uhura. Do you remember Diane Carroll?
Yes.
And she was in a couple of shows. One of them was Julia. I remembered that show. And she was in, I think she was in another one in the 70s. Diane Carroll, very pretty woman, very, very popular actor. For my, this is where I'm
So
kind of
for-
happy on this
Can I
list.
stop you for a
Yeah,
second?
please go ahead.
So for Uhura, I'm a little surprised you didn't take the obvious. Wasn't Nichelle Nichols in Mannix?
No, it was not Nichelle Nichols in Mannix. It was Gail Fisher.
Oh.
Different woman. She's on my honorable mention list. For Nurse Chapel on this list, it's Jacqueline Smith. We're just going to have to dye her hair a little bit blonder.
Yeah, but good
But
pick.
I think it's a good pick. And my Yeoman Rand, Cheryl Ladd.
You got to get out of the Charlie.
No, I don't. Actually, no, I do not. I don't have to.
No, you don't
I'm
have to.
good right where I'm at.
Well, why wasn't Charlie Kirk?
Because I didn't really care that I didn't want him to be Kirk.
That's fine. I'm just giving you crap.
That would be a very attractive crew.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it would.
My last list. Now, this.
I'm afraid to ask what you based your last list on.
Yeah, well, I'm most afraid to tell you.
All righty.
All right. So MASH. It's a MASH themed list.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh, this isn't going to be good. Hawkeye is Kirk. Now, Kirk, why Kirk or why Hawkeye for Kirk? He's always thinking outside the box, going around corners. You know, the rules don't really apply to him, type of thing. So
It actually kind of makes some sense. Now that you've said it, that's not bad.
next, Spock would be Charles. Charles just kind of always the stiff,
Yep.
you know, stiff character.
I can see it. Yep.
All right. McCoy, BJ Honeycutt.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
was-
Harry Morgan.
I was thinking about Harry Morgan.
Were you?
I was, but just BJ just he was that down to earth guy,
Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha.
So he didn't have the I don't know, the dialogue that McCoy would have, but he was just down to earth. So because you think McCoy, who do you want? You don't want run down old Colonel Potter. You want you want BJ Honeycutt.
All right. I think you've made that very clear.
All right, now move on.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Maybe I should, because it goes downhill from here. Scotty, it's got to be Radar.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
He was the epitome of, it'll take me 3 weeks, Captain, and now you have 2 hours. Get it done in an hour,
And Radar would get it done.
and he would get it done.
Oh, that's a kind of a cool choice. I can see that.
I'll go safe on this next one. Nurse Chapel, Hot Lips Houlihan. She's got to be.
Where else are you going to go?
She's either that or the captain, one of the two.
Well, how many females do you have left to put into female roles
Well,
from
then there's
MASH?
that.
So yeah, then there's that.
And speaking of females, there's
All
Uhura.
right.
Who's gonna be
Yes.
Uhura, but Klinger.
I don't. Poor
And there's
Nichelle
period there.
Nichols,
I can't say anymore.
You're not really doing any credit to Nichelle Nichols there. My goodness.
It just was a fun one. I just had to do that.
Can
Sorry,
you hear
Nichelle.
Kirk on that day on the bridge? Lieutenant, you really need to shave.
There'd be a double take, definitely, from Kirk. What the?
Gee, you think?
You think? All right.
All right.
Sulu, Rizzo from the Motor Pool. Remember that guy?
I do.
He wasn't on too often. I can't think of his name, the actor's name, but was in several things like Mannequin and I think the Police Academy movies.
Yep.
So, and then I had to use Father McKay somewhere, so that's Chekhov.
Okay. You just had to plug him in.
I had to plug him in.
Exactly.
And I was out of characters.
Well, there you go.
The whole list was all around. That last one was all around Klinger being Uhura.
All right, let's move on to my sitcom list. So on this list, there are some exceptions, just as there were on the cop show list, and they start at the top. So in the beginning here, my Kirk is the $6 million man himself, Lee Majors.
Nice.
And it's only because I wanted Lee Majors on the list. And I couldn't find another sitcom actor that I could see as Kirk, so I just threw Lee Majors in there. Yeah, there we go. That works. All right, my Spock is someone who also doesn't fit on this list. It's James Brolin from Marcus Welby, MD. But he's dark-haired and kind of tall and lanky too, and you throw some ears on him, he might be Spock.
Yeah.
You know, he might be Spock. I don't know. For Dr. McCoy, it's Richard Anderson from The $6 Million Man, Oscar Goldman.
Yep.
Just because he's cranky sometimes. You can hear him kind of bitchy.
Right. No, that's perfect.
All right. So those were my exceptions to the sitcom roles. Here come the sitcom actors. My Scotty is John Ritter.
Why? So I love John Ritter, but why John Ritter?
Because he could do the accent and he'd have a ball with it. Just like Simon Pegg.
True.
Except Simon Pegg actually has the accent because that's where he's from. But I think John Ritter would be an awesome Scotty, and he would just eat up the scenery with it.
He would steal
He would.
the show.
Yep. All right. Sulu would be played by Jack Sue from Barney Miller.
Yeah. I was going to do a whole Barney Miller one, but
You could almost. Yeah. My checkoff in this group is Christopher Knight, who played Peter on the Brady Bunch.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Not a bad one. Yeah, not a bad one. My Uhura is Esther Roll from Good Times.
Yep.
All right. Nurse Chapel is Mary Lou Henner from Taxi. Yeoman Rand is played by Suzanne Summers from Three's Company. So that's my sitcom list. And I've got some honorable mentions I wanted to run down here real quick.
I do have to say that you have a thing for Yeoman Rand.
That is no secret to anyone who knows me. No secret at all.
No, it isn't.
Janice Rand and I have been together, in my mind, for decades. Okay, let's talk about my honorable mentions. Kirk, an honorable mention from him is Robert Vaughn from I Spy and just tons of shows in the 70s. Do you remember Robert Vaughn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he might be an interesting Kirk. For Spock, do you remember the show Bonanza?
Yes.
Big Brother Adam, played by Pernell Roberts, I think would be an interesting Spock. And then also for that role, Robert Urich. Yes, I know, dead silence. But when you look at him physically and you put on the ears, he might make an interesting Spock.
He would definitely make an interesting Vulcan.
He would. I think he would. He was a good actor.
He's
I miss
very
Robert
good.
Urich, yeah. For McCoy, my honorable mention list is, I have 3. The first is David Jansen from The Fugitive,
Mm-hmm.
Alan Alda from MASH, and David Doyle from Charlie's Angels, who played Bosley. Just because he also has that scratchy, bitchy voice. So my honorable mention actor for Scotty was Dan Blocker from Bonanza. Do you remember Hoss?
Yeah. Yes.
I have no idea why I picked Hoss to be Scotty. But then I started thinking about it, and I thought, that actually could work. There's no reason why. I could just kind of see him in the uniform in the engine room telling people what to do.
Yeah.
So
Just don't put him in the Jeffries tube.
yeah. Okay.
You should keep going.
Yeah, we should keep going. Now, this is my creative casting award here, and you'll love this one. For Sulu, Eric Estrada.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, how can you work Eric Estrada into this? Well, you can't. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. It's the 23rd century. You could have, a Latino with a Japanese name.
Sure. That was very clever.
Thank you so much.
Outside
Again,
the box.
It was creative casting on my part. For my checkoff on my honorable mention list, it is David Cassidy from the Partridge Family.
Yes.
My Uhura, we've already talked about, is Gail Fisher from Mannix. My Nurse Chapel, would be Kate Smith from Charlie's Angels.
Check. Got them all.
Got them all. I had to. And my Yeoman Rand would be Diana Canova from the show Soap. Do you remember her on Soap? She was the older sister in Corinne's family. Dark-haired, beautiful girl. Yes. Yes. I encourage all of you to go Google Diana. Yeoman Rand. Okay. I also kind of went and looked at some guest star roles and some actors for those. So you know how every once in a while Kirk's got to talk to some admirals, right?
Yeah.
I kind of came up with some actors for admirals roles. I thought Lorne Greene would make a really good admiral.
Yeah, he did.
And he did later on.
Show.
Right. And maybe it's because I'm seeing him in Battlestar Galactica, but even on Bonanza, he just had that presence.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think you'll like this one. Telly Savalas. Yes, Admiral Kojak.
I was considering him for Kirk.
Were you really?
Yeah, he was in like my top 3.
Oh, that would have been an interesting Kirk. Especially if you would have given him a sucker.
Right.
Another one of my admirals is James Garner. He's kind of the cool, laid-back admiral that never seems to have enough money.
Right.
Another cool admiral is Carl Malden from the Streets of San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
He's just kind of that older, easygoing leader sort of guy. I thought he would be good. I thought Harry Morgan would be an interesting admiral just because he would yell at people.
Yes.
And then William Conrad. Do you remember what show William Conrad was on?
Oh.
Cannon.
Oh, yes.
Big
Cannon.
William Conrad. I thought he'd make a great admiral. Okay, so in one episode, we got to see Kirk's nephew. So I'm thinking to myself, there were some great, child stars that maybe could play Kirk's nephew in a recurring role. And if you remember what he looked like, he was that little red-haired kid with freckles.
Right.
So Danny Bonaducci came to mind right away.
Yes.
And then I thought, well, maybe we want to go in a different direction. So then I thought about Leif Garrett. Remember Leif Garrett from the 70s?
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I thought, okay, maybe we're going too far with the teen idol thing. So what about Ricky Schroeder, cute little Ricky Schroeder from the 70s?
Yes.
All right, now this is just me kind of really frigging out here in my mind because I started thinking about Trelane. Remember Paul Lynde?
That's a different obvious choice.
Well, I have a second, and let's see if it's yours. And I also thought about Robin Williams. Mork from Ork playing Trelane. Who were you thinking about?
Yeah. I was thinking of Liberace.
Oh, goodness. Yes, because they look a lot alike.
They look a lot alike.
And he could play the piano.
And he can play the piano, right?
And I think he would look good in Napoleonic uniform. So
He would. Well, and
He would.
He almost always dressed like that anyway.
he almost kind of did. You're right. Liberace would have been a great choice. I was thinking kind of that way out personality, but can you imagine Paul Lynde
Paul Lane.
as Trelade? Well, if you don't like it, whatever he used to do. I can't do Paul Lynde. And then here's my last one, and this is just because it's special. For whatever reason, I thought of an actress who could play Kirk's mom if we ever saw her, and it would be Lucille Ball, really the mother of the show.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
That's perfect.
those are my picks. And, if you've got picks while you're listening here, we would love to see your lists. You can go out to our Facebook page at facebook.com/70s Trek and tell us what your picks are. I'd love to see those. Wouldn't you, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. Thanks for listening. Next week, we're going to be looking at Walter Koenig's career in the 70s.
We'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to 70s Trek, an independent fan production. Join us next week as we explore more about the production, the actors, the producers, and the influencers of Star Trek in the lost decade of the 1970s on 70s Trek.